Hello everyone, my name is Matthew here, doing a self-graded card review at Crescent Vale. We're looking at 2023-2024 insert Virtuous Joker. I can't pronounce everyone's name accordingly. I do my best. I apologize if any player ever is watching or just the people that are fans of the player are offended on their behalf. Nikola Jokic. That's my best. It's my best attempt. I'm just going to call him Joker. I call Luca Luca. Shea, I call Shea. Gilgis Alexander. I think that's the correct way to pronounce that name. But yeah, I will mess up name pronunciation. Even that's kind of difficult for me at times. But I do my best. Feel free to roast me in the comments. What we're taking a look at right now is the card's condition. Quick disclaimer, as we do every video, every post, we say this. It's basically the card sold as raw. We put it in a Zion slab, which is kind of a custom slab. This is a 55 point. We're not brand dealed at all. It's just I like self-grading. I like putting it in these nice high-end slabs, about $3 to $4 per slab. I like being able to put a custom label in there and then sell it as raw with my best assessment of it. Now, eBay does have a condition requirement that you give it either near mint or better down the line. But what we're doing is basically giving a more precise way of looking at that, but it's sold as raw, not guaranteed to cross over any other grading company at this grade. Grading is very subjective in general anyways. And then it's also not guaranteed to increase or decrease with a monetary value. Basically, please review the photos, the high-end videos that we do on YouTube. When you're looking at our eBay, cross-reference back over to our YouTube to see if it's up there. We're going back through some of our best cards in the library, a little bit more of the expensive ones too, so that if you do decide to purchase one of these cards from us, you can at least say, okay, Matt has essentially done his best to get me the best understanding of the condition of the card. If there is any flaws, he'll call it out in the video, and then I can see the video, find the flaw myself, determine if I still want the card. And, just some of the stuff on eBay that I see, like in top loaders and these blurry photos, I can't tell. I want the card a lot of the time, but I can't tell the condition of it. So when I found that there was this gap of visual information, and since that's kind of part of what I do anyways, I said, okay, I'm going to play into this, work my angle that is film, high-end photos. I'm going to fill in that gap. And if other people want to follow, that's great. Other people want to do more high-end photos, that's great. People want to continue to do the 2 photos because it's quick and easy. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying if we all get in a better transparency kind of conditioning in the hobby, we're all giving the other person the best chance to get a card and the condition that we're truly expecting. And that level of transparency is why I do a lot of this. But let's get into the grading. Recently done, I think, a few of these inserts and kind of gotten down the cross-referencing to other cards on eBay. I also use Grok AI to cross-reference the grades. But I've seen enough of these now that the centering from left to right looks, and we're looking from basically the silver line to the edge of the card. And what we're trying to determine is this consistent all the way around? Left to right looks extremely consistent. Top to bottom is the next kind of area that we're looking at. And let me see here if we just need to refocus, because right now it's just focusing on, there we go. So we're taking a look, and I'm not a hand model. Please don't go ahead, roast my fingernails and my hands if you like in the comments, or don't care. I appreciate you not caring. The amount of space from basically this kind of underneath his name is this kind of border-esque white silver border. From there to the edge of the card is what we're taking into consideration. And then also you can kind of take in consideration from the silver line to the top, and also from the lettering to the top. So left to right looks really consistent. I would say there's a little bit of an inconsistency from that bottom to that top. There just seems to be a little bit more room on the top. So we're going to give that a 9 for centering. I've seen others similar when I cross-reference this card to other cards. 9 centering when you see that kind of discrepancy is what I've seen. So centering gets a 9. Second, we're going to take a look at the edges and the corners all in one fell swoop because they're all kind of conjoined to a degree with his die cuts. And I've kind of looked it over once, and I looked over a few of these others. And I'm, underneath my level of magnification, I'm not seeing hardly any errors on this card and some of the other inserts that we've had up recently. But now when I cross-reference it to other cards, usually if I can't find an error, I by default say, well, if I can't find anything, therefore it gets a 10. And I'm kind of like a private investigator here, and I'm trying to find the errors so that my buyers can at least be aware of them. But when I can't find it underneath my level of magnification, I do tend to want to give out a 10, but cross-referencing this tells me that there is rarely, and it may happen on rare occasions, that these edges and corners get 10s for edges and corners. So just I can't find anything. And usually in other cards, not these die cuts, I tend to give out 10s on corners and edges when I can't find anything wrong with them. But I am being mindful of the amount of times that actually happens with other companies. So doing a 9.5 for the edges and corners. Now we'll take a look at the surface. Right now we have 1.9 for the centering, 2 9.5s, and right now we're looking at the surface of the card to see if we're leaning towards a 9 or a 9.5. And I'm not seeing any issues on the surface. And if we don't see any on the back, I am kind of more apt to give a 10 for a perfect surface. And especially I've seen numerous of these cards today. So I've seen, I call them indentation lines. And you can kind of see a fingerprint there that I need to get. But indentation lines do happen, I would say, semi-frequently. And that does bring down my score. But if I don't see an indentation line, I don't see anything on the front or the back. That's perfect now. So I could almost see a little bit if we look here at this angle. Kind of almost something there. So 9.5 on the surface because it was, and I think maybe some indentation lines right there. Very faint. Some of them are more, there's definitely print lines, there's indentation lines. I think I consider them two different categories. But for this, I think a 9.5 for the centering is where I lean, and then overall 9.5. So yeah, we've graded 4 of these die cuts today, and we've gotten 1.9 and 3 9.5s. And to be real honest, some graders could find more discrepancies in some part of this, some subjectivity. But I've graded, I think this is around my 65th card now. The older cards honestly have way more wear after, so many years of being either passed from buyer to seller, just stored improperly, possibly handled improperly over the years. But these cards that are only possibly a year old to 1 or 2 years, there's just fewer opportunities for them to be mishandled and for them to have flaws. So now I'm not saying that my grades are final. I'm just saying my grades are my best assessment to show my buyers what condition I value it at. And, today we've had this essential 9.5, and you can watch the other YouTube videos. This shade of 99 got a 9, and that was centering. I think it was just really 3 9s and a 9.5 on this. But yeah, really nice card, but essentially it got a 9. And that's okay. 9s are completely okay. This Kevin Durant, I think, got a 9.5. It got an 8 sub-score of this area right here. So even when the card gets a 9.5 overall, I want my buyers to know there are subgrades that can be lower for others, and then some grading companies might say it can only be a half a grade more. This got a 9.5 as well. Some grading companies might say it can't really get above half a grade more than the lowest subgrade. I don't go by that. I go by if there's 4 grades, I'm going to basically average the grades out to get the condition. That's just how I do my grading, but now everyone's a little different, so keep that in mind whenever you're deciding to purchase. These Zion slabs are magnetic at the top. We put a custom label in. But yeah, that's kind of the process. That's kind of what we've been up to, and thank you for watching. Continue to watch and have a great day.